Today's show is presented by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from Podgo. Apply today to become a member and immediately be connected with the advertisers that fit your audience. That's Podgo at podgo.co. Podgo, that's where the pods go.
Hello and welcome to the Infectious Groove Podcast, part of the Odd Pods Media Network. Recorded at the 33 1/3 Music Appreciation Center in Speakeasy, located just outside of Detroit, Michigan. The Infectious Groove Podcast is your source for jammy jams, music news, and the best in-depth music discussion. Thanks for joining us. Now here are your hosts.
Well, hello. My name is Russ, and along with me is Michelle, because we're doing a Women Who Rock episode, and Kyle.
Yeah. I do rock.
I always say Kyle and Michelle. No, you're just a woman who's going to discuss Women Who Rock. Well, you know what? Remains to be seen. Let's see how the episode. Yeah, let's see how the episode goes.
Let's see what the listeners think.
Right. You are quite peppy for a morning, I have to say. To give our listeners an idea, we usually mention this that we record on like Saturday afternoons, and Michelle is recording well before noon on a Sunday, and I'm not quite sure how to take it so far.
We went to bed at 9 p.m.
I should be scared, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I also woke her up at like 7:30 this morning.
Right, I know. I saw the text from you in the group chat early, and I was like, "Oh, like this probably isn't good." Anyways, we had yet another eventful week. As always, we keep putting new videos up on the YouTube channel. This week was another one of those comparison videos, like I did with the Pink Floyd one, where like for 30 years there's been a 2 LP version of a live Pink Floyd album, and now there's a 3 LP one. What to do about it? I did that one a while ago, and we got a lot of feedback where people were like, "Okay, cool. Like I know which one to go with now."
And then you, of course, own both.
I do, yeah, of course. And I actually complained up a storm in the video about the 3 LP and how no one should buy it. And then I'm like, so you're probably watching this video being like, why do you own it? You know, and the fact of the matter is I will buy anything with Pink Floyd on it. Like if they just put Pink Floyd on any piece of merchandise, I'm like, well, I have to own that. And they know, you know, there's a bunch of fans like me, and that's why you have merchandise, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So anyways, the latest video is there's a old In Excess live album that's 1 LP that really should have been 2 in the first place. And it got expanded to 3 LPs. And with this, it's the opposite of the Floyd thing. Like, you absolutely should be buying the 3 LP version. Yet again, we got a bunch of all the feedback on the channel so far is like, okay, well, I have to own this now, or like, oh, I just ordered it from Amazon, you know, which has been the case so far. Like most people watching the channel are like, boy, I keep spending money watching this channel, you know.
So why aren't you getting paid for this?
Why we aren't getting paid for this? Because we don't have. You need 1,000 subscribers on YouTube first, and we're like a quarter of the way there. We're like just over 300 subscribers. So, and I'm not really interested in like making too much money off of that.
I think Pink Floyd owes you some money, right?
Oh yeah, Pink Floyd absolutely, definitely owes me some money. So, anyways, we have a ton of feedback to share. Actually, there's a couple of things from feedback that's still rolling in from a couple of weeks ago. Which, as you know, like Michelle, any clue what we talked about a couple of weeks ago at all? Thankfully, our listeners know. So
be more specific.
Right. And then we have a bunch of feedback on last week's episode and a couple of voicemails.
Oh, boy.
So
I was thinking so hard this week. I was trying to prank call our voice line, and I could not think of anything funny.
We have, right. Well, our listeners know you can't think of anything funny. They hear the show on a regular basis. But what's great is, so we have 2 pieces of feedback, one in text form and one in voicemail, that are both follow-ups to a voicemail we received last week. So this is getting real meta.
Oh, boy.
So anyways, before we do that, we're going to pay some bills. Here's a quick word from our sponsor. Spring break is right around the corner, and you know what that means. Spring break in your pants. Manscaped is here to ensure the party in your pants never stops. For anyone preparing for a pants party this spring break, we have an exclusive 20% off discount using our code IGP20 at manscaped.com. Manscaped is dedicated to helping you level up your full body grooming game. The Perfect Package 3.0 comes with the essential Lawnmower 3.0 waterproof, cordless body trimmer and a ton of liquid formulations to round out your grooming routine. Their 3rd generation trimmer features cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to the advanced skin-safe technology pioneered by Manscaped. You can also adjust the settings to a length you like and stay on top of it with almost no effort at all. Don't ruin any vibes this spring break or upcoming summer with a situation coming out of your swimsuit. Inside the Perfect Package, you'll also find Manscaped Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant, an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer because you know how painful chafing can be when you're wearing your bathing suit all day. You'll also find Crop Reviver Ball Toner, a spray-on testy toner that's designed to give your boys a little slice of heaven. For a limited time, our subscribers get 2 free gifts: the Shed Travel Bag, which is a value of $39, and the patented high-performance reduced chafing Manscaped Boxers. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code IGP20 at manscaped.com. Do yourself a favor and always use the right tools for the job. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code IGP20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with the code IGP20. Say aloha to your beautiful balls with Manscaped. You like that?
I do.
You're right on. All right, that takes us into one of our more active segments now.
Feedback, John.
Don't worry about that. Right. Rock and roll be without feedback.
So the first piece of feedback comes actually from this last week. I did a really fun guest spot on, there's a podcast that we're friends with called the Dad and the Rock podcast. Sean and Chris have a YouTube show that they do live on the spot called High Voltage. And I did it on Wednesday night. And these guys were like, it was awesome to go on because they knew all of our inside jokes and everything. And it was a whole lot of fun. They had some opinions on Michelle's opinions on music, like seemingly everyone does. But anyways, we got to discussing pre-show. We had a whole way that we were going to go about the show, and then we quickly got off the rails and just kind of went like free form. And at one point it came up that one of them doesn't like any covers or live albums or like when bands redo their stuff or anything. And the Kyle bump came up. Because they were like, because of the Kyle bump, this guy who does not like covers or redos or anything listened to Metallica S&M 2 because of how you were going on about it. And he's like, yeah, this is great. It was funny to see the Kyle bump get acknowledged outside of here. I'm pointing down and here. So, and then we have other feedback to share. And this is so funny to me that our feedback is now getting meta because we have 2 pieces of feedback that are feedback
about other feedback.
Yeah, feedback about other feedback. But anyways, this one is from a topic we did a couple of weeks ago, and I don't expect Michelle to remember what we talked about, but we talked about music, how our music tastes have changed since we grew up.
That's what I was going to say, but I didn't want to be wrong.
Yeah, and someone said, growing up sucks like they say, but the sweet jams make life easier. This episode was phenomenal and really brought me back to my days, my music days growing up, which I think is awesome. You know, so, and then we got a lot of feedback like that. On that episode, like a lot of people being like, oh my Lord, I went down memory lane, you know, and really had a lot of fun, which was awesome.
Yeah.
So last week we got a voicemail where a gentleman left a message regarding the one-liner that I heard in a movie somewhere where a character says, I was in a Warrant cover band called Subpoena. And then also the voicemail was rounded out with the world's most awkward joke regarding if Blind Melon and Squirrel Nut Zippers ever had a supergroup, right? So we got a piece of feedback from a listener named Bob who says, I'm listening to this week's podcast and check this out. James Mathias from Squirrel Nut Zippers was in a band with one of the guitarists from Blind Melon before either of those bands were ever signed. Is that not crazy?
That is crazy.
That's funny.
So you see, the funny thing that I said on accident that you pointed out led to a voicemail that led to that feedback, which is crazy.
Yeah,
like, you know,
crazy.
Yeah. So I thought that was awesome. Oh boy, here comes a couple from our friend in the UK, Will. Will says, I am 100% taking Michelle to court. I am working out again while listening to this episode, and thanks to Michelle, I am on the floor. Will then follows up an hour later with, and also, Michelle, I am advising the judge to give you a 6 to 10 year sentence minimum for saying pettied out. So Will doesn't believe you can be pettied out, and you mentioned that you were pettied out.
I know.
And so that we're going to tack onto your sentence.
I don't think I said I think we. I think I included everyone.
Well, you don't speak for us when you say pettied out.
I'm not pettied out.
Yeah, I don't believe I'm pettied out. Let's see here. We had another one regarding the episode last week, which was Michelle.
Album review.
Album review. CCR is an awesome way to start out your Monday. These discussions are hilarious, which I thought was great. And then we had some regarding your pick. As far as the album goes, listener Mike from Chicago says, great episode. What an odd album to review first. But it goes to show you how many good tunes CCR had. So that is fantastic. Garrett, a listener from me, he has his own new podcast called The Ever Trending Story, said this was a great episode. Now I'm checking out the album for the first time, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly what we expect, which is awesome. Here comes a couple back to back from a person. Again, it's like I told you guys, when we get this feedback, like I can tell who's listening when, or like where they're at in the episode based on their feedback, right? So you have one here that was about a news story that broke that says, can you please ask Michelle what the NTF is and if she'll be obtaining one from Kings of Leon? Do you know what they're talking about?
I just had to tell her all about NTF.
You didn't have to tell me. You said, I don't understand what this is. And so then you Googled it and you read it out loud.
To you, because you have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So it's like they're turning cryptocurrency into an album where like you'll get goods for it.
It's tangible goods that you buy digitally.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So I did tell the person that I would ask for your thoughts on it, Michelle. And there's follow-up to the fact that I said I would ask
Standing for non-fungible tokens.
So there you go.
Fungible?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on this, Michelle?
I don't get it.
Okay.
Even after I read her four articles about.
No, I get what it is. I don't get it why anybody would.
So
do
my
it.
favorite part about this is the person said to ask you that, and I replied, and I said, well, we'll ask her because I'm sure whatever she says will be hilarious. And then her reply is, I don't get it. And then here's what the person wrote back to us. I mean, anything Michelle says is great entertainment. She says, I don't get it. You never know what's going to come out of her mouth. I LOL'd when she thought you were old enough to see CCR live.
Wait, you're not?
I thought for sure you were going to shoot lasers out of your eyes at her.
He did.
Yeah. Then we have another piece of feedback regarding the episode. Now, this is something where you and I talked about Run Through the Jungle and how I think both of us just assumed it was about Vietnam. Like I've always thought that. Here is an interesting piece of feedback we got from listener Nick, who says, I always thought Run Through the Jungle was about Vietnam as well. But I read in an interview a couple weeks ago or a couple of years back, that according to John Fogerty, he actually wrote the song about America. He was shocked at the time about how there was a gun for every man, woman, and child in America. And it's also the song that John was sued for in the 80s for sounding too similar to himself. So I didn't know that that's funny.
I read something that it said that it was relating to Vietnam, but that's
crazy.
Yeah,
yeah. But yeah, and it's funny to me that is the song that John got sued for sounding too much like himself. Some more CCR and Michelle related feedback. I love CCR. I really enjoyed this review. I personally don't mind Ramble Tamble. Lies. Everyone minds
Ramble Tamble.
No.
Ramble Tamble on.
It really gets me going right off the bat. Not like that, Michelle, you weirdo.
Just me?
Yep. And then the final piece of Michelle-based feedback this week is, and I think this is my personal favorite piece of feedback we've got so far. Maybe you guys can do a whole episode about how Michelle doesn't actually like music. I mean, I get that's every episode, but really dive into it.
What's music?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that was my favorite so far. So lastly, we have a couple of voicemails to share as well. So let me go ahead and bust those off real quick.
What's up, Infectious Groove Podcast? This is James from Mountain Cali. Very much enjoyed this week's episode. Thought it was a little surprising that Michelle had this opportunity to make Russ listen to a record and pick something that was right in his wheelhouse. So that was a little surprising. But thank you so much for pointing out further holes in my record collection, as I don't have any credence, and definitely would love to get Cosmos Factory in the lineup. Side note, been listening to rewatching Scrubs, and so of course I have Erasure's Little Respect stuck in my head, and we listen to that all week. Look forward to hearing from you guys next week. Talk to you.
So James has littered our Facebook with complaints about how much we keep making him buy records, and now he's taking it to audio. Someday this is going to be entered as Exhibit A in the civil lawsuit between us and James. And then I have one more voicemail that we received this week from a person who knows the show well, and this is actually the other follow-up to the other voicemail that we got. So we solved the mystery of the Squirrel Nut Zippers and Blind Melon. Now there's some info regarding the cover band of Warrant called Subpoena.
Hey, so I do have a voicemail for you. During last week's episode, which was season 3, episode 6, your album review of CCR Cosmos Factory, an unnamed listener / friend of the show left a voicemail about some obscure cover band called Subpoena. You, Russ, had mentioned that you've been trying to figure out where this factoid was from for a long time. And Michelle, of course, asked if you'd Google it, and you said yes. And then her next natural question was, did you ask me you know, the lady upstairs who can find anything on Google. And while you said yes, the answer was indeed no. So with 4 minutes of Googling tonight and the limited information I could find on this treasure of a film, I give you the following. In 2004, someone was either really, really bored or really, really high, or both, and chose to make a mockumentary called Comic Book the Movie. This movie stars Mark Hamill as Donald Swan and features cameos from Kevin Smith, Donna D'Errico, and Stan Lee, among many, many others. From what I can tell, this, air quotes, film gets, let's just say, mediocre reviews, to the point that there's not even a notable quote section on IMDb or anywhere else. Nevertheless,
I'm going to pause this and interject. Apparently, this is a masterpiece that I somehow took in somewhere along the line. But anyways.
I have prevailed with the following information. In this movie, the cameraman, who I was unable to identify in terms of the actor playing this character, comes out at some point that he plays in a cover band. They are called Subpoena, a tribute to Warrant. I was not willing to watch this film to find the context of this conversation, so if it means that much to you, please, by all means, go ahead and spend 106 minutes of your life doing so. But this is as far as I'm willing to go. So there you have it, guys. Just go ahead and yell upstairs next time. Talk to you soon.
So for the listening audience, that is my beautiful wife, Stacy, who apparently, first of all, I did not ask. She made that clear. I have never asked her about this. And second of all...
How? You ask me like at least once a year this comes
I know.
up.
I ask Mike all the time. That's why he left the voicemail. And how on earth did I end up watching something called Comic Book the Movie with Mark Hamill and Kevin Smith in 2004? I have no idea. But obviously that line stuck with me because every single time I listen to Warren, I'm always like, oh, I want to go see Subpoena again. You know, so you want to go see Subpoena?
I don't.
You do not?
I do not. I don't want to go see Warrant either, though. So.
Oh, well, you can't anymore.
Well.
I mean, you can see air quotes Warrant. You can see a band calling itself Warrant, but since Jeannie Lane passed, there's no such thing. I got really defensive of Warren just now. So anyways, if you want to share your feedback with us, there are so many ways to do it. You can post on our Facebook page. You can post on our Instagram page. You can tweet at us. You can text us at 313-394-9899 or leave us a voicemail at 313-394-9899. And we will be happy to feature you in the show. So moving right along, I actually have some really good stuff to share this week for our next segment. Our Jammies. So what I've been listening to, I actually have one thing that's a huge pleasant surprise, and then one thing that the jury's still out on, so it's not exactly my jammy jams, but we'll see.
All right,
I picked up the new Kings of Leon album, I've only listened to one LP of two of it so far, but holy cow, is it really subdued.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Did y'all listen to it yet, the new album? I didn't get through the whole thing yet, but only because we had people over to Spin Records on Friday, and like everybody zoned out when the first LP was on because it's just really like they are getting like more and more and more relaxed with
That's
every
what I told
record.
her is that you can have it on like the background and it be just there and it's fine.
Yeah.
But like as far as something sticking out, it definitely does not at all.
I listened to it like 3 times trying to find something, and then
And
if you put
the
it,
whole thing?
yeah,
Okay.
and then if you put it on Spotify, it keeps playing after that, and it kicked into old Kings of Leon, and I was like instantly like, oh yeah, this is what I wanted to hear anyways,
Yeah.
like not this.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
My album was supposed to be delivered yesterday. It was not.
Yeah, I went and picked it up, the indie exclusive version of it. So
I
what I did was I drove to the local record store.
you're supporting
I
local
ordered it
businesses.
from Kings of Leon.
What I did was instead of just posting on social media about supporting local businesses, I went and supported a local business. It was-
Select local businesses.
select local
Yes.
businesses.
The ones that I approve.
The ones that are on the way.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So anyways, I mean, my thing is, and we talked about this before, like they're not the Beatles, they're not Eminem, they don't have that $100 million in the bank. So I try and support artists that I like, but man, this so far, I'm like, that's not such a good blind
Yeah,
buy.
maybe they're going in a different direction now. I don't know.
Somebody who doesn't need my money, but I did a blind buy this week, and you know how there's always, whenever somebody leaves a band, there's always like the two divided camps. Like you're either a Steven Tyler guy or a Joe Perry guy when they split, or you're a David Lee Roth or a Van Halen guy when they split, or Roger Waters or David Gilmour when they split. So there's always like that thing. Well, with Black Sabbath, it's like when Ozzy split from Black Sabbath, you either went with Ozzy on his solo career or you stuck with Black Sabbath when they changed over to Dio. And the first thing I ever heard in my life, it pretty much always comes down to what you heard first. Like anybody who's like a diehard Black Sabbath with Dio fan, they're always like, well, that's what I heard first, you know, and opposite with Ozzy. Well, when I was a kid, I heard Iron Man when I was like 7. And so I was just, okay, I'm in. Like Ozzy is Black Sabbath for me, and that's it. So for literal decades, I've had people praise up and down the first Sabbath album that they did with Ronnie James Dio on vocals after Ozzy left. Mm-hmm. It's called Heaven and Hell. And for real, I've never listened to this album. Like, this is considered like a metal classic. Like, people, it's just like every metal fan has to own it. I've just never got around to listening to it because, like, for me, I'm very much an Ozzy Sabbath guy. So they did a reissue of it, and I was like, you know, worst case scenario, I mean, it can't be terrible. Like, with how much praise this record gets, I'll blind buy it and see what happens. And it'll be fun to listen to it front to back on vinyl for the very first time. This record's from 1980, by the way, so like it's crazy that I've never got around. I've never heard one note of music off of this.
There's nothing in the air supply?
No, well, like not that I've heard.
So I definitely haven't heard it.
So anyway, for sure, for sure. So anyways, I listened to this thing front to back the other night, and it absolutely lives up to the hype. Like, you know when a movie comes out and people tell you it's the funniest movie ever, like everybody...
Like Superbad?
No, I mean like an actual funny movie.
Napoleon Dynamite?
No, an actual funny movie. No, in all seriousness, the example I can give is, you know how... you know when The Hangover came out, how like everybody on earth was like, this is the funniest movie ever, and then when you saw it, you were like, holy, it really is that funny? Okay, most times that doesn't happen. Like, you go see a movie and you're like, this is not anywhere near as funny as people told me it was or whatever. That's what I expected with this Sabbath record. And like, it's The Hangover. Like, it's as good as everybody says it is, which is crazy. So
that is crazy.
I'm really happy about that. So, to get turned on to something, I mean,
what made you blind buy it?
New to me. Exactly that. Just like, this has got to be, there's got to be something here with how much I've heard people praise it. So I'm going to go ahead.
There's people out there who praise Creed now.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, there are people that were praising Creed, but nobody, you don't hear that so much anymore. But like with like Dio and Sabbath, people like will always defend it, you know. So anyways, so for me, the Kings of Leon is just there. Maybe we'll just throw some good stuff on the playlist instead of stuff off their new record.
The two or three singles, like Bandit and I can't think of the other one right now, that they released were like the heavy hitters on the album for me, but I was hoping for more. Yeah. So, and then I'll throw a couple on there from the Sabbath record. So Kyle, what have you been listening to?
I also did check out the new Kings of Leon. I made it like 3/4. I think I have like 3 songs to listen to still at the end.
Review based on, yeah.
I'm not. It's all right. I couldn't really get into it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
It's not terrible. There's way worse shit out there.
Right.
But I also Drake also released a EP with like 3 or 4 songs on it called Scary Hours 2.
I saw a tweet from somebody the other day that was like, I think Drake's going to drop an album tomorrow. And in my head, I was like, that's going to be Kyle's Jamie Jams.
Yeah. So Michelle had texted me. I was like, did you listen to the new Kings of Leon yet? And I said, no, Drake came first. I've been listening to that first. So there was that. And then I also realized just now that I had fucked up because
just now, huh?
Yes.
Wait. For the listeners, I'm pointing down to the Kyle bump. But anyways,
Rumor, the guy who I talked about before, who goes by Rumor, RMR, whatever.
Yep.
Released an album finally, and I didn't know about it and did not check it out like I should have.
Great marketing.
Yes. Spotify, man.
Dude, well, it's like, and not to veer off, but like Chinese Democracy. I know people that like 3 years after that record came out were like, yeah, if Axl ever gets to putting that out. And I'm like, it came out 3 years ago. But I don't even put that on the fans. Like, that's how messed up is your marketing.
Yeah.
If like people, like that record, people were waiting for, I think we made reference to Chinese Democracy when you were talking about this before. It's like people were waiting for that record for 11 years and then they didn't even know it came out.
Yeah.
So, but that's not on you. That's on the marketing.
Well, yeah. The way Spotify works is too. People pay to get promotion. So if he's not paying for that, then he's going to get pushed to the wayside. Which
by the way, eventually, we've always had on our list of topics that we're going to do, like the payola scandal.
Yeah.
And now it's going to have to end up being a two-parter because there was the payola scandal, and then now it's just accepted and encouraged, which is crazy. But anyway, so how is the record?
I haven't listened to it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I just found out that it came out. So next week, hopefully, that'll be my jam.
What about Drake?
Drake is good. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Right on.
I wish it was a full album.
I'm not being funny when I say this. I don't think I've ever heard a Drake song.
Yes, you
if
you're on TikTok, you've heard a Drake song.
Also, if you listen to the radio at all or anything, which you don't really.
But I know we go to the casino quite often. Like it's probably played on the overhead.
I'm fairly certain that you've heard like God's Plan before because it was just in the air supply for so long.
Oh no! Is this the thing where like I'm always saying to Michelle, where like if you play it, I'll be like, I know that song.
Yes, 100%.
How are his songs named? Are they named the way they should be? Like for Michelle, is it just the chorus is the name of the song?
Typically, yeah. Like in the song God's Plan, he says God's Plan a million times in the song. So
okay,
that's,
sweet. Sweet.
What's that dance song that he has on TikTok?
Huh?
I'll think of it.
Okay, so
it was 3 songs that is on this EP. I wish it was a full album, but it's 3 songs.
Well, you never know. Hey, at least Axl produced 14 songs when he finally got around to putting it on Chinese. Michelle, you heard all the feedback. I mean, we had the little bit of Kyle feedback. There's no feedback for me. It was all Michelle centric, and never about your jammy jams. By the way, I like that people are just like they have opinions on Michelle's opinions of their music, but not so much hers. So, Michelle, give them the hotness. What besides podcasts? What have you been listening to?
The hotness.
Well, I've been listening to a lot of women in rock this week, but in addition to that, someone had mentioned that they are watching The Little Things.
Oh yeah,
and then that reminded me of Good Charlotte, Little Things, and then I went down an emo rabbit hole.
Oh boy!
So it's been.
So you started out wanting to listen to women who rock, but ended up listening to people who wear a lot of makeup, anyways. Just dudes.
Yes.
Yeah. Sad.
Yes.
Sad
I got like the
dudes.
EBGB feeling when you mentioned that song. Good Charlotte is.
Shut up!
I've mentioned this on the show before, but I have a friend of mine who uses Good Charlotte as an explicative, and it's my favorite thing. So if you're like, Michelle was supposed to be here at 8 and she's not going to get here until 9, he'll be like, oh, Good Charlotte.
Next time I stub my toe, I'm going to be like, Good Charlotte!
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's my favorite thing. So, Michelle, tell us more about your emo rabbit hole.
Anyways, there's a fantastic playlist on Spotify called Emo Forever, because,
Sure.
And they're just jams like Finch.
Emo forever, even though the shelf life was really 4 years on that genre, but go on.
It's like the 4 most impressionable years of my life.
I feel like I'm going to get my first feedback on that. Like a lot of people are going to be like, no, emo is forever.
Emo is forever!
Sure, go on.
So mostly it was like Finch, What It Is to Burn. Good Charlotte, of course, is on here. Panic at the Disco, Fall Out Boy, The Used, which brought me back to The Taste of Ink, which is just a fantastic song. So
right on.
It was a lot of emo this week to the point where I have an office at work and the walls are really thin, and my neighbor was like,
could you stop doing that?
He was like, who hurt you? He sent me a Slack message, and I was like, don't worry about it. And then he was like, I like all the songs you're playing, so it's fine.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't Kyle.
I keep thinking of, this is so off topic, but I keep thinking of with you being pregnant, I always think of Jordan in Scrubs. Like I always, anytime you're approaching, I want to play Isn't She Lovely?
Thanks.
So,
I appreciate that. That's going to get me on your the YouTube channel even faster. So,
yes, please, and we can play that as your intro music to the song. Seething, the movie Clue. Heaving, I hated him so much. We are going to be right back, and I didn't mention this at the top, but if you saw the tweets and you're involved, or even Kyle's description or whatever else, you know that the main topic for this episode is going to be women who rock. So everyone but Michelle, I think we're going to cover.
Fuck you.
And going into this, we're not entirely sure if this is going to be two parts or not. So let's find out together. We'll be back in a minute.
Welcome everybody to the Body Skew Podcast. I am...
Whoa, dude. No. This is our promo, not the show. I'm Rico.
Oh, sorry. I'm CJ, and we're the hosts of the Body Skew Podcast.
We're fans of pretty much anything and everything pop culture, including movies, TV shows, books, video games,
comics, music, and of course, Kevin Smith. Now, while we do keep our fingers on the pulse of Silent Bob, he certainly doesn't need our help in promoting him.
You got that right. We do our own thing, with inspiration from the man himself and his mantra of why not. We've got stories about celebrities we've interviewed, theories of our own for certain movies, and we can usually tend to have a great debate about anything.
We also do commentaries on movies. Sometimes we ask our fans what they want to watch with us. So if you love the timbre of our vocal cords and want to watch a movie at the same time, give us a listen.
Stay tuned every Monday, there's always something new. And if you've been good this year, we may even give you a bonus episode from time to time.
So please be good and subscribe to and enjoy Podescue, founding member of the Odd Pods Media Network.
Once every harvest moon, a talk show comes along that is so groundbreaking, raising the bar to such heights that other podcasts step back and say, wow, that show's got it figured out. With a host, tempered in focus, commitment, and sheer will, this is The Derek Duval Show. Pop culture, news, and interviews with fascinating people that channel the great Edward R. Murrow and Walter Cronkite. The Derek Duval Show. Find him on Twitter and Instagram at Derek Duval Show, and find his new episodes every Wednesday on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Play, and Podchaser. The Derek Duval Show. The best thing to happen to Hump Day since the Geico Camel. What what?
I'm Midnight Agent Raw. And I'm Okami. We are the Super Media Bros Podcast. And each week, we give a comedic take on all forms of entertainment, such as movies, music, video games, television, and much more. So put your shades on and listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Shades on. We're off.
We are back, and we have one that we know for sure we're curious through this week. Might even end up leaking over into another one. We will find out in a second.
It's time for the Infectious Groove Podcast. Main topic of discussion.
Main topic of discussion this week being women who rock, and not women in rock and like just rock and roll, but like women who rock in general, you know, like that have been influential and
Yep.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah. You think I'm coming up with ways to describe you?
Yes.
Sure.
I was under the impression this episode was about me.
No, I don't know who told you that.
I think you're confused.
I have a really different list.
You have a big mirror. Is your list of women who rock you, and that's it?
It's all my winning attributes.
Sure.
That people tell me all the time.
Who tells you these things? So let me ask you guys this, because I really want to do this just as a round table and like just discuss whomever we want to discuss. But I do have one question for you because of the way my list is in no particular order except for one, because when I don't know why, but when I think of like women who rock all together, they're everything they've contributed to music and everything, I always think of one woman first. Yeah, Michelle, obviously. Michelle. And also, I want to remind you, Michelle, that the mic in front of you is live. And so if you speak instead of gesturing, the audience will be able to hear instead of me just seeing your gestures.
It's a strange concept.
Yeah, it's odd. What? So who, for you, is there one person you think of, like when you think of either women in music, women who rock, anything, is there one person that you think of first? Yeah. Or like right now, who springs to your mind first?
Stevie Nicks was the first person on my list.
I can see that.
And the
for
very
sure.
first person that I thought of when you mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's more personal than it was like anything else.
No, Stevie Nicks is pretty universal.
No, I know, but like it wasn't like, oh, because she did this thing. It's because like I can vividly see my mom's Stevie Nicks bumper sticker on her Spider, and like that's what I grew up listening to. And it's like she was the first person to me personally.
Yeah. So. What about you, Kyle?
The first thing that pops in my head is like Whitney Houston.
Oh, right on. I don't even have her on my list, and she definitely kicks ass.
But if I was to start, the way my list would work would be from a long time ago to coming into now, because all those people influence the people who exist before and then up to now.
Yo, for sure.
But yeah, if someone was to ask me like, what's one of the most influential people women that you think in music? Whitney Houston would be one of the first people I would list.
And this was like the reason why this might be 2 episodes and why I want to make sure people understand we are not saying this is the only women who rock or there's any sort of order to this. These are just people that to us matter a great deal. For me, for some reason, the woman that always pops into my mind first is Dolly Parton.
Yes.
What a badass.
Yep.
Like all the way across the board, man. Like if even on the surface level, if you just look at Dolly Parton's career, she's just a certified badass, right?
And she cured COVID. So.
And then, so when you dig in deeper, little things like, okay, so everyone knows that she wrote "I Will Always Love You" and Whitney had the huge hit with it, right? But there's like, even if you dig into that deeper, okay, did you know Elvis Presley could have had a huge hit with "I Will Always Love You," right? You know why Elvis Presley didn't have a huge hit? Because in order for Elvis to record your song, the Colonel had it set up that he had to have all the publishing rights and stuff, okay? Mm-hmm. Everyone in music, Neil Diamond, Mac Davis, like Simon and Garfunkel, the biggest names in songwriting at the time, all went for it. They were like, oh, well, Elvis is going to cut my song. Cool, right? Yeah. You know who didn't? Dolly. Dolly was just like, no. Like, you know, and this is like in the infancy of her career, you know, and she was strong enough to just be like, I don't care. Like, I too want to hear Elvis sing the song.
Right.
But not at the expense of, you know, now think about that. Now, again, I'm not reducing Dolly Parton to "I Will Always Love You." Okay, there's Jolene, Here You Come Again, 9 to 5. I mean, it's the list goes on. But think about that song in particular and Dolly's strength in that moment, because if she does that and Whitney has that huge hit, whoever owns the rights to "I Will Always Love You," because the Colonel and Elvis had passed away, rake in all that dough.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But because she was strong enough to be like, no, that I'm a badass. I wrote this song. It's mine.
I know what it's worth.
Yeah, I don't want the biggest entertainer in the world to sing it because the balance isn't worth the risk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So years later, look at that return.
In my personal opinion, I think Whitney singing that song is way more influential than would have been Elvis singing that song.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially at the time in his career when Elvis was going to do it. Mm-hmm. Elvis in 68, 69, 70 doing it would have probably been a big deal. But 74, 75, it would have just been on Elvis has a wonderful rendition of "Always on My Mind." Willie Nelson wrote it, and a lot of people have never even heard Elvis's version of that song. You know, and "I Will Always Love You" could very much be the same way.
Yeah.
You know, Dolly obviously crosses over easily into Whitney.
Yeah.
What a badass! Like
I try and find other people's renditions of "I Will Always Love You." They'll be good, but I'm always like, this is not as good as Whitney's. Like, this is not as good as Whitney singing this. I can't. Nothing that I've found tops her singing that song.
And she totally reinvents the song too.
Yes, it's totally different than when Dolly sings it.
Mm-hmm,
yeah,
mm-hmm. Like with Dolly Parton, if you know the backstory about Porter Wagner and everything, like you could like choke up listening to her version, you know. And then you listen to Whitney's version, and it's just like she transforms the song into this huge thing. That last note when that four-time hit. Boom, and oh man, like that is just killer.
I have chills
stuff.
Right now talking about it.
I mean,
it's crazy.
Well, with me, Whitney was one of those things where, for me, the 80s were like really male dominated. Michael, Prince, Culture Club, Duran Duran, Simple Minds, like all that stuff. And then here comes Whitney with, because her first two records were like super sugar pop, you know.
Yeah.
But I remember hearing "How Will I Know" for the first time and just being like,
God, what a jam.
Who the hell is this broad? You know, I mean, and it's funny because she's kind of connected to Elvis in a weird way because her aunt is Dionne Warwick. And Dionne Warwick is Sissy Houston's sister. Sissy Houston is Whitney's mom. And
I need a map.
Okay. Sissy Houston is Whitney's mom. Sissy Houston was a member of the Sweet Inspirations who sang "Back Up for Elvis."
Ah.
So it's, but when I was a kid, I didn't know anything about her lineage or anything. I was just like, man, this broad can sing.
And the unfortunate part is her downfall became to overshadow her as the great singer that she was.
Yeah. There's two documentaries about her. I think one's called Whitney and the other's "Let Me Be Me" or "I'm Gonna Be Me" or something like that. I watched both on flights a couple of years ago, and it's wow. Amy Winehouse, who wasn't on my list, but absolutely should have been fantastic. We'll get there. Amy Winehouse's downfall was very public.
Yeah.
And I'm not speaking out of turn here. I was going to try and be careful about this. I mean, she named her album "Back to Black" and the song "Rehab" and everything. She was very public with her issues. And Whitney, when we got to the reality show phase, a lot of things became public. But there was,
other than that, it was behind the scenes the entire time.
So much going on. I mean, she was in very many ways similar to Amy Winehouse behind the scenes. Yeah. And we never knew it. Like, and when I say before, I'm talking like I want to dance with somebody era.
Yeah.
Like where, you know, I was a kid watching the American Music Awards. I'm like, oh, that's the squeakiest clean person ever in the history of the world, you know? And now I'm watching those documentaries and I'm like, oh, Whitney, no.
No, girl.
Yeah, you know, so swinging it back around, besides Stevie Nicks, so, you know, obviously your mom was influenced by her. And then on you, like, was there anything with Stevie Nicks that you look up to that you're just like, holy cow, like a Dolly type of thing where you're like, wow, she's awesome?
Well, to be one of two women in a male-dominated band, and then to write lyrics and to just own it out there, because there's a lot of women who are in bands that, nothing against them, but they don't do the songwriting. They just sing and they do it beautifully. But to be a songwriter in that band was just
to just come in and be that good at what you do,
and then sing it that well, and I think I appreciated it more later, but it always was something that even if that wasn't the case, she'd still be iconic to me.
To me, there's two things that stand out for me, Stevie Nicks wise. One is a solo thing, and the other is very much to do with Fleetwood Mac. Now, and again, I want to make clear, I'm not reducing Stevie Nicks to these two things. Like she's stunning, and she's absolutely something for any woman of any age to look up to, especially if you're going to try and go the music route. Like she sets such a good example.
Oh yeah.
One is, and I don't know if you guys know this, Prince originally tried to give Stevie Nicks the song Purple Rain.
Oh, I did not know that.
So I don't know if you know it by name, but the song Stand Back, it's a Stevie Nicks solo record. Prince is playing the keys on that. And he gave her Purple Rain, and she was like, no, like you need to do this. So that song could have been on a solo Stevie Nicks record, and she was the same thing as Dolly was like, no. Like this, that
would have been wildly different too. That's
Did
crazy.
Did she ever do it at all for fun?
No. I mean, she may have done it in a concert set list. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We have a listener in Chicago who's like the world's foremost authority on Stevie Nicks, so he'll probably tell us.
Oh yeah, tell me.
313-394-9899. But she may have covered it over the years. And then the other thing, and this is so specific, but when this woman is singing Silver Springs on the Fleetwood Mac reunion, hold on though. This song is so very specific about Lindsay and the whole thing. And if the song doesn't...
Oh, shoot! Lizzie Buckingham!
Yep. So that song doesn't have to be your jam, but here's what I would tell you, Michelle. Go on YouTube and watch it again. And at the very end of it, where they go through the chorus one at a time, cast a spell on you.
So I've never seen them like do it live, like with my eyes. I've only heard it with my ears.
Just type in on YouTube, type in Silver Springs, the dance. Okay. At the end, where they go through the chorus one more time in the time, cast a spell on you, and she's going, never get away. She is dragging the mic stand inches, and Lindsay looks like he saw a ghost. Like he looks like he's about to get killed live on stage. And when she's screaming, never get away, her whole face is like shaking. She looks like, I'm going to annihilate this man. And Lindsay, God bless, he's standing there looking like, security better get over here. Like he looks like he's going to die on stage. And to have that intensity, oh boy, you know. But the number...
Was she on your list?
Stevie Nicks? Yeah, oh, absolutely. I had her on there. Again, I don't want to say number 2 and 3, but this is a combo. Ann and Nancy Wilson, man. Come on, Heart Sisters.
Yeah.
I mean, both of them, just badasses at what they do. Like, if I was a little kid coming up today and I saw footage of Nancy Wilson, the way she handles her guitars, I would just be like, I want to be a guitar player for a living.
Right.
You know, like just the way she handles her business, you know.
They're a little off my radar, which is unfortunate, but like I know enough about them too. I would say they were badass.
Heart's one of those bands you could easily get away with owning a hits package and get like everything that you need. Barracuda, Magic Man, Alone, Never, the song Ann Wilson hates, and I always have to. All I want to do is make love to you. The song's the worst. I just recently saw an interview with her where she was like, "That's the worst song," and I was like, "It is the worst song, man." And they do some fantastic Led Zeppelin covers in that. But and so I talked about Nancy for a little bit. Can we just talk about Ann Wilson's voice for a second?
Yeah, man.
If the only thing in her life Ann Wilson ever recorded was "Alone" by Heart. Still a woman who rocks.
Yeah.
You know.
100%.
And another thing about Ann Wilson, I can't say, because I think I grew up sensitive to it because I'm such an Elvis in the 70s fan. And when people refer to Elvis in the 70s, they go, oh, old fat Elvis. You know, first of all, their weight has zero to do with it. Zero to do with it. And Ann Wilson, when Heart first broke, was 99 pounds soaking wet. And, you know, that's a lot of the press that they got was less focused on her voice and more on like, oh, look at the hot girl, you know, like, and then in the mid 80s and through all the way through the 90s, she really had like a lot of weight issues. And that became like the focus. Like you would Alone would be played, and then they would like on the entertainment show, they'd be like, yeah, but she's fat though. Like what, are you high? Like, did you hear what she just sang? Who gives a shit how big she is?
A lot of people.
No, I know that. And it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane to me. Like, how is that even in the conversation?
Yeah.
You know?
It shouldn't be.
So, who else comes to mind when you think of women who rock? I mean, but besides you, who else comes to mind?
Wanda Jackson was on my list.
Oh, my Lord.
How did you forget her?
So, how many different ways is this going to come back to Elvis? Because Elvis dated Wanda Jackson.
Yeah. Do you go with me when I saw her?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
The queen of hillbilly rock and roll.
Oh, my God. And that was like, I think the first and only time I've ever seen her. We saw her downtown, like 2 years ago, maybe? Like right before the pandemic, I feel like. And she sat down the whole show with her perfect wig on and just killed it. Like, just commanded a presence and was funny and just, oh my God.
This woman.
Goosebumps.
Like, she should be in every single time people say Little Richard, Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, she should absolutely be in that conversation. And I'll throw myself under the bus on this. I had no idea who Wanda Jackson was until probably about 10 years ago or so. And Jack White started really championing her. And I was just like, what did I miss here? And then you go back and you dig in and you're just like, whoa, like this woman is
her
insane.
voice, man.
I will say it's unique.
Yes.
And she sounds exactly the same today as she always did.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly the same, which is awesome. So, if you're listening to this and you're like we were once upon a time, you're like, oh, who the hell is Wanda Jackson? Look into this broad. Yeah. And this woman is strong.
It was probably like 8 or 10 years ago when I realized who she was. I think it was probably around my Johnny Cash phase, that she came about. And, I remember going to people, and I was like, do you know what a Wanda Jackson is? And like half the people were like, yes, where have you been? Like she's been around since like the dawn of time. So, but also people like me and Russ were like, I don't know what this is.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Who else do you got, Kyle?
Billie Holiday.
Oh, well, yeah, not on my list, but fantastic choice.
Yeah, go all the way back. To be a person of color and to be a woman back in that time, you had everything against you.
Yeah.
And then to write songs and sing about what she sung about, you have an even bigger target on your back.
I don't mean to put you on the spot. Did she do Strange Fruit?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know that cut?
Yeah.
Holy
every
cow.
time. She comes up in conversation probably every couple months, and then he'll be like, listen to the song. I'm like, you've played it for me. And then he plays me the Kanye West version.
It's more or less there's strange
it.
fruit that hangs from the trees in the South, right?
Yes.
Okay, and for those who not putting the nuance together, she's speaking about the South of the United States, and the strange fruit is African Americans.
Yes.
And like you said, speaking from the vantage point of the establishment at the time, the only thing I can think that people thought of Billie Holiday was, how dare you?
Yes. Oh, for sure.
Yes. Which for me is, go ahead.
Yeah.
And so then when you learn about what all the songs that she wrote were about, and then you listen to it and you're like, Jesus, man, like she's a certified badass for everything that she did at the time that she did.
And you talk about opening doors.
Yes.
So there's one I had on my list that I was going to save for later, but it relates to this in a way. Leslie Gore.
Oh, she was not on my list.
Let's talk about Leslie Gore.
She sings my theme song.
What you said, well, I mean, first of all, It's My Party, which if you listen, like that sounds like a super upbeat song or whatever, but like when you listen to that, that's an empowering song. And then You Don't Own Me.
You Don't Own Me.
You Don't Own Me. Holy cow.
Yep.
And you talk about an activist, like this woman more or less gave up. She could have continued to have a career and instead became an activist for women's rights. Like talk about putting your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
Instead of, and it's the same thing with Billie Holiday. I bet there were good old boys in the country and pop music in the 50s that were like, who does this woman think she is?
Yep.
Yeah.
And you can look up and find out what happened to her or what they think happened to her.
Well,
in relation
Billie
to
Holiday.
everything.
I believe there's a documentary.
Yeah, it's brand new.
Is it a documentary or is it like I think it's a movie.
It's called The United States versus Billie Holiday.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just talking about that today. I want to watch it.
Yeah, I'm going to pull another Michelle here. I meant to watch it. The next one on my list, I'm going to go ahead and say I think this is a little controversial, but Hear Me Out.
Oh, boy.
From Detroit, Michigan, one half of the greatest rock duo in the past 20 years, Meg White. Allow me to justify this. Meg White does two things that nobody else does in rock and roll. Number one, her stage presence as a drummer is amazing. Like, if you watch Jack White, if you watch any classic White Stripes performance, Jack is flailing about all over the stage. He's throwing his guitar all over the place. He's playing with like 40 different effects, and you will still look at Meg. That's stage presence that almost nobody else in rock and roll has.
Okay.
If that was any other drummer sitting there, you would be watching Jack.
She doesn't have to be at the forefront of the stage to be able to command that presence.
The slink, the way she plays, there's just something about her. That's a stage presence that you can't buy. And the other thing is, Meg White gets dumped on constantly about being like a remedial drummer, you know. Okay, Meg White plays exactly what White Stripes songs need.
Yeah.
I think that there's a huge compliment to be paid to her for not overplaying. If you take a song like Seven Nation Army and you put any other drummer in that band, that song's not as big of a hit as it is.
Yeah.
Because she plays exactly what that song needs.
I feel like that always happens with drumming, too. Everyone's always like, oh, well, he sucks at playing drums. Or like, she sucks at playing drums. Every time it comes up, like...
Meg White gets destroyed. Yeah. And here's what I have to say. If you go on YouTube, there's like... a lot of people do these funny videos where they'll be like, you know, what if Carole King sang Metallica or whatever? Like, people do these funny videos. And there's like a lot of people who do like, what if Lars Ulrich drummed for the White Stripes, or what if Mike Portnoy drummed for the White Stripes? All you got to do is watch one of those videos and you understand what she does. The simplicity in what she... And who's to say Meg White could probably slay a drum kit if she wanted to.
Yeah.
But she's playing exactly what the songs need.
What is she doing nowadays?
Well, it depends on who you listen to. If you listen to Jack White's very giant diss track of Meg White on his first solo record, she's sitting at home collecting money. There's a song called Hippopotamus Poor Boy where it's like up there with Fleetwood Mac diss tracks. But she's being a private person is the short version.
What's wrong with that?
Well, the motivation is what people have a problem with. There's some people who say that she suffers from like severe anxiety and couldn't take being in the public anymore, and it's justified. And then there's other people that are like, she just decided to sit home and collect all the money from the White Stripe stuff and whatever. It is what it is. Either way, it is what it is. And it doesn't, for me, either one doesn't take away. But that one Jack White song, holy cow. Yeah. Kyle, who else you got?
I'm going to group a couple people into back in the day with Billie Holiday. So you got Billie Holiday, you got Nina Simone, you got Ella Fitzgerald, you got Etta James.
I literally was trying to lean back the whole time and have to come back up to my mic.
And all for the same reasons that I mentioned about Billie Holiday.
Pioneering.
And they pioneered everything that happened back then. And you have everything against you because of who you are and what you are. You make you make something out of nothing.
And not just, I had a hit record.
Yes, it is.
Like what you're saying.
Yes, I made a huge impact on the music industry. I didn't, it wasn't a one hit wonder. I didn't there was none of that. It was, they paved the way for people of color, women of color.
Yeah. It's not lost on me. Like, you don't get Whitney.
Yes.
Without all of that happening, you know, back then. And sure, Whitney was singing How Will I Know and, you know, Saving All My Love, but for her to be at all in the spotlight, it takes Strange Fruit and all of these things that happened in the early days, where I hate to keep hitting on this one song, but it's Strange Fruit alone. How do you get away with doing that?
You don't.
You don't get away with it. That's what ultimately happened. But I mean, even with what's Summertime by Nina Simone, like that is
everyone's covered it. But,
that is an iconic song that and I don't think anyone sings it like she does.
That's what I was going to say.
It is just
not on my list. I've heard Joss Stone do that. I've heard Janis Joplin do that. I've heard everybody cover that song, and nobody sings it like her. We are definitely going to make this a two-parter, by the way, because I have a lot left. I'm sure you both have.
Yeah, I do.
Which is, you guys are cool with carrying this over, because I have so many more. I'm not even halfway through. We'll try and work in a couple more, though.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, one name, and you guys probably don't know this name. A lot of our listeners may or may not know this name, but you've heard everything she's played on. Carol Kaye. Okay, Carol Kaye.
She was on a lot of lists that I looked up this weekend or this week, and I was just like, I don't know who that is.
Okay, so she's the bass player for the Wrecking Crew. So let me put it this way: if you heard a song in the late 50s or most of the 60s, 90% of the time, the musicians playing the music were one of two groups, either the Funk Brothers out of Motown or the Wrecking Crew out of South Los Angeles. Okay. So to give you an idea, Carol Kay has played, well, first of all, she's a bass player on Pet Sounds. So wouldn't it be nice, Sloop John B, all that stuff. She played on Sam Cooke records. She played, These Boots Are Made for Walking. Okay. When doom, 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 that's Carol Kay. All right. And this,
also not on my list.
The Monkees records. Every song you like from the 50s or 60s, there's like a 60% chance Carol Kay played the bass line on that. Sinatra. I mean, the list goes on. This woman played with everybody. And again, total boys club.
Yeah.
Session, musicianship, the whole songwriting game, the whole music industry, boys club. And this woman walked in looking like she looked, a fantastic looking young woman, walked in, sat down, and was like, I'm just going to go ahead and let my bass do the talking here. And she had people like Phil Spector. Phil Spector would ask Carol Kay's input on mixes. Phil Spector ain't ask anybody for input on anything ever. He was notorious. You were talking about last week about John Fogerty being a control freak. Okay. John Fogerty and Roger Waters wish they had the control that Phil Spector had. And this guy was asking for Carol Kay's opinion, right?
Right.
That you know how much your work has to speak for you for that to happen. Brian Wilson asked her about the arrangements on Pet Sounds. Brian Wilson very famously was under the impression that God handed Pet Sounds to him. Not like, thank you, Jesus, for this, Best New Artist Award, like he literally was under the impression that God gave him the arrangements.
Is he still under that impression?
Yeah. And,
you said I didn't.
Well, I just meant at the time.
Okay.
And who knows? Maybe God did give it to him. We don't know.
That's fine.
Yeah. But here's my thing. So Brian Wilson was under the impression this was given to him by God, and then asked for Carol Kay's opinion of it.
So God, Carol Kay,
right?
Brian Wilson. Got it.
So what kind of badass do you have to be for that to happen? You know. So let's work in a couple others. Kyle, who else you got?
Pink.
Oh, absolutely on my list. Absolutely on my list.
Not on my list.
Who else? I can't think of anybody else that has become so outspoken that the fact that she told basically one of the biggest people in the record industry to go fuck himself.
And then had a head about it.
Yes, and then if he wasn't gonna give her the time of day, then she was gonna do it anyways. And fuck you for not believing.
And I
me.
love the fact that the record that it's on is called Misunderstood.
Yeah,
she's also a fantastic performer. Like I know people always like. Some people don't like her performances, but when she did she scaled that building and was it the Music Awards?
Yeah,
and she just everything the aerial stuff that she does is just I don't know. She's very commanding.
Pink comes off to me as a person who I'm gonna wait on my other one for next week, but another person who I put on my list just because real. She's just so real. Like any interview you see with Pink, she's just like, if they're like, what do you think about the price of milk? She's like, it's too expensive. She just instantly.
And she looks different than any other female performer at the time. Especially most female performers are going to have be pretty long hair.
She came out with Britney Spears and Christina, right? Where they were belly shirts and
I think they were around the same time. Yeah.
I'm going to say, is it Just Like a Pill where she talks about, I'm tired of being compared to Britney Spears.
Yeah.
She's so pretty, that just ain't me. I think it
might be that song.
I think it is Just Like a Pill. But yeah, exactly. She came out at that time and she was like, I'm a little thicker woman.
Yeah.
I have a little
she's got
different
short
hairstyle.
hair. She's got pink hair.
She can sing.
And she can sing her ass off.
And she's got sweet tattoos. And
it
wasn't anything
Sick
that anybody...
tats, bro.
Sick tats, bro. Just wasn't anything that anybody was expecting.
And the way that she tells it is L.A. Reid was like, well, I want you to be this. And she's like, no.
Yeah.
I'm going to be what I want to be.
I feel
and then
so
you can...
dumb that I can't remember the name of the song, but it's the same song. She says, L.A. told me you'll be a big star. All you have to change is everything you are.
Yep.
Yeah. And, he's just to stand up to that and be like, because if you look at Pink's first record versus the second one, totally different thing.
And she became a huge, huge, huge star with being able to, do whatever she wanted to do herself.
Yeah,
man.
I'm a fan, and she can sing.
Yeah.
If you like yourself some Aerosmith, there's a song that most people don't even know she did. It's on the Misunderstood album. It's called Misery, and it's her and Steven Tyler singing a slow blues song together. And because that record had Just Like a Pill and Get the Party Started and all these big pop hits, and this is like a slow blues song with her. And she keeps right up with Steven Tyler on that song.
Yeah.
Does she write a lot of her stuff?
Yeah, it's 50-50. At least from what I've heard.
Okay.
Michelle, take us out of this episode. We've got just many more women. But we've got next week.
I have a lot more.
Me too. I've got a ton more too. I'm so excited. Hell, this could be our first three-parter. You never know.
Brittany Howard.
Oh, man. Not on my list.
What?
Oh.
Brittany Howard of Alabama Shakes, who also has a solo career now.
All you have to do is listen to Hold On.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I was telling Kyle, because he started playing her today, and I was like, have you seen her live? She is... I don't even know, like, her stage presence, just by herself with her voice and just the way that she just goes out there and tells you, shut up and listen.
It's what I was talking about with Meg White, where it doesn't matter what, because the people in the Alabama Shakes are world-class musicians.
Yeah.
And you're not looking at anybody on stage other than Brittany Howard. That woman commands the stage.
Oh, for sure. Like, whatever you're doing, you're putting your phone down and you're just like, I'm in trouble. Like, you have to listen to me sing. You listen to her sing right now. She's one of those people that I would go see again and again and again because she's just magical on stage. And I love her solo stuff. I love Alabama Shake stuff. Like,
and we always try and keep it positive on the show, but holy cow, did she back clean up too? Because the time we saw Alabama Shake's Father John Misty opened, and he was just terrible. It was just awful to the point where, like, I was in such a bad mood. He was so bad as an opener, and then it was like one song into the Alabama Shake set, I was totally forgot.
She's another one of those people who sounds better live. Like, you cannot encompass everything about her voice on an album. Like, you just have to see her live.
Yep. So I was worried's not the right phrase. I was anticipating this being at least a two-parter. I would say you guys probably have a lot more to cover.
In my personal opinion, we barely even touched on.
Yeah, which is good.
I intentionally started all the way back to Billie Holiday, but then there's stuff.
It's like next week we're going to get to the 70s, and Kyle's going to be like, we need this to be 3 parts.
There's so much more.
But this is good, though. I mean, it's International Women's Month. That's why we had the idea of having this, and I'm fine with celebrating women all month long. I mean, we try and celebrate Michelle as much as possible on the show.
We only get 1 month, though. And then, April 1st, done.
Yeah, as soon as April 1st is in, like, it's just going to be, well, first of all, it's just going to become the Kyle and Russ show.
Yep.
And then we'll just,
What did you give me for International Women's Month, by the way?
I got you my presents.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
I get that every day.
I got you a baby, man. What are you talking about?
No.
All right. Well, we are going to take that whole argument offline. Please make sure, join the feedback. Tell us, now, we're going to cover this more. We have a lot more women, but talk to us about the women we already covered. Tell us what you think of those women and some of your favorite memories, favorite songs, and so on. And we are going to get back after this next week. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Without music, life would be a mistake. Bye.
The Infectious Groove podcast is hosted by Russ Robinson, Kyle Wimple, and Michelle Koselecki. Produced and edited by Russ Robinson. Intro and outro music composed by Chris Kimmel. Opening credits read by Stacey Robinson. Recorded with a Rode Podcaster Pro and Rode Pod mics.